My name is Kate, and I am on week 31 of long COVID. I've been given a general update in a while now, and this week I hit a really exciting milestone, so I wanted to do sort of a general update on my recovery from long COVID. So I am on week 31, and yesterday, in my work as an Episcopal priest, so you can imagine Sundays are kind of the big day. Yesterday, I did both services, preaching and presiding for both of my churches. And that hasn't happened in 7.5 months now since I got sick. So being able to do that again has been what I have been working towards in my therapy, in my rehab, in my doctor's appointments, in my rest for months and months and months. And to get there felt huge. It is such a big victory, and I want to celebrate it. And I'm also very aware that I'm not fully recovered. I would say, in my own sort of internal estimate, I feel like I'm about 65% back to normal, or whatever normal could be now. So yesterday after church, after my second service, I took a nap in my car before I drove home. And then once I got home, I was in bed all day yesterday. I was in bed all day today, and I'll probably be in bed tomorrow morning as well. So while I'm able to do more, it means that I need to be even more intentional about getting good rest afterwards. So the other exciting bit of news is that I have graduated from 2 of my rehab programs. So I've been in pulmonary rehab and dysautonomia rehab. So pulmonary rehab has been focused on that respiratory muscle weakness, my diaphragm and intercostal muscles deciding to just not do things anymore because my body was just so used to being in that fight or flight mode. So months of doing both strengthening, cardio, breath training, both resistance training, volume training. So now I'm at the point where instead of going to rehab for pulmonary rehab twice a week, I just check in with my respiratory therapist and pulmonologist once a month. So I'm making really good progress there. I can do a little bit of singing, which is huge. Just having the actual diaphragmatic strength to be able to hold a particular pitch and make a sort of sustained sound has been hard work, let me tell you. I can sing, just a bar or two, but as someone who sings as part of my work and who has been part of choir and music my whole life, being able to sing just makes me feel like me. And then for dysautonomia rehab, which has really been focused on getting my cardiovascular capacity back up with reclined and recumbent exercises, I've hit a point where they felt good about me sort of managing my own exercises at home. So continuing to do all of that work of rehab so that I can add more time upright over time as well. The last piece, fingers crossed, the last piece of rehab I'm doing is occupational therapy for cognitive challenges that have come up because of my long COVID. And this isn't something that I have talked about much. I think for me, and just being really honest and vulnerable about this, it's the part I'm most ashamed of. Because for me, I have always been a ginormous nerd and a big reader, and someone who really defines myself as someone who just thrives in sort of academic environments and intellectual environments. I love to learn. I've always been really successful at anything I've tried academically, with effort, but that's something that's always come really easy to me. And now, since COVID, all of that has gone out the window. So I did a really extensive round of cognitive and memory testing through my occupational therapy. And what we found was that my memory is good. Hooray. My memory is solid. Once things are in the memory banks, they stay there. The challenge is my attention is gone. So for visual attention, I scored less than 1% for my age group, which is pretty scary. So being able to focus, pay attention, take in new information is a real challenge for me right now. It's gotten in the way of reading, of having conversations, of being able to track plans, directions. So bit by bit, working with my occupational therapist to gain some more tools, to do some exercises to help me improve my attention, and also create structures of support around me so that my brain doesn't have to work quite so hard at paying attention. So things like checklists, or for Sunday morning, for example, I have a checklist of, from the time I get in the church doors, these are the things that need to happen. So that way I don't have to, okay, I know I'm supposed to do something. What is the thing that I normally do, but I cannot remember? And those all help. What we're finding with long COVID, I guess, is that it can present really similarly, sort of on a neurologic level, to someone who has had a traumatic brain injury or a concussion. For me, for example, there's that cognitive piece of not being able to pay attention, but neurologically, it's also presented as an eye issue. So you may have noticed of late that I wear glasses now, which is a totally new thing. Never wore glasses before COVID. I have always had perfect vision, and I was having all those issues with reading, so my occupational therapist said, you might as well just go to the eye doctor and see, if there's anything going on there. And what they found was that I now have one eye that is nearsighted and one eye that is farsighted. And this eye doesn't always like to connect to my brain, especially when I get fatigued. This eye likes to just kind of head off in its own direction and do its own thing. So very similar to someone who's had a concussion or a traumatic brain injury. So part of it is doing some healing work for my eyes as well. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Like I said, I'm about 65%, which a few months ago, 65% would have felt impossible to ever achieve. And here at 65%, it feels like, oh, I have so far still to go. But we get there. It's made in getting good rest, in doing the work of rehab and therapy, in putting good structures of support around myself. And I am hopeful that we will get to a place of full recovery. I don't know. I don't know what that will look like, or if my new baseline will be somewhere different, but I'm willing to put in the work to try to find out. That being said, everybody has a different timeline. For me, I sort of suspect that I'll have a better idea, at least from what my doctors have told me, about 1 year in, we'll kind of have a better idea what my overall trajectory might look like in terms of recovery versus a new, different baseline. But for you, that timeline might look different. We all go at our own pace, and the stupid, frustrating thing about this being the novel coronavirus is we have no idea what we're doing. We're just figuring it out. You may have been sick for much longer than I have, but we have only really had some research and more treatments available recently. You may get sick a year after this video comes out, and there'll be, God willing, just a wealth of treatments that we can't even imagine right now. And gosh, I hope that for you. That being said, for me, the thing I have found most helpful is having a good team, of having really incredible caring medical professionals who are up on the long COVID research. And that is hard to find. I'm not going to lie. It is hard to find. So if you don't have a good medical team, get in touch with your long COVID team in groups like the Body Politics Slack group, where we have great lists and resources of doctors that people have worked with and had good experiences. Find your team. And last piece, and I hate this advice. I hate giving it. I hate receiving it. So feel free to, just hate me a little bit for saying it. I can take it. But go slower than you think you need to in your recovery. If you are a type A personality like I am, you might be inclined to just be like, I will do all of the things for my recovery. I will do all of the rehab and put thing on top of thing. And, of course I can go back to work sooner. And you run yourself into the ground and you get into a relapse that you cannot get out of. Go slower than you think you need to. When my pulmonologist first told me that he thought I could go back to full-time work in August, he told me this back in March, I just about had a heart attack because I wasn't going to be better just to work until August. And yeah, August 7th, that was it. We all want to get better. We all want it to go faster. But by pushing too hard, we do ourselves more damage than good. So take the time you need to take. I know it sucks. But by taking it slow, you do get where you want to go faster. So that's a little update from me in week 31 of long COVID. I hope that wherever you find yourself on your long COVID journey, whether it's you or someone that you love, that you are on the road to healing, whatever that needs to be. I would encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to continue following along with my long haul COVID journey. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take good care, everybody.